Okay, so this is part 2 of the Pathfinder typography tutorial. So this is where we're at. We've got 4 words that have been duplicated, each one with a different colour, which has been downloaded and used from Adobe Cooler. We've made a pattern, and we've applied that pattern to one of the words, which looks pretty sweet. Okay, so this is a Pathfinder exercise. So you'll notice with this one, each part of a letter or each letter has been cut up into different shapes, and those shapes have been layered up with the different colours that we've duplicated. Really simple process, but it's quite an effective process, especially if you were to take this into kind of Photoshop later and start to add texture and that to each object. Often looks really nice. Often looks nice with a little bit of drop shadow underneath bits of text as well, in order to kind of create a bit of depth on the composition. I'm not going to do that today because it's a bit more advanced, but you know, that's something we can look at later. Cool. So there we go. So that's what we're making. So let's crack on. So just starting with the letter C. Let's zoom into it. Always work close in Illustrator. Just because the page is kind of that big doesn't mean that you can't kind of like work closer. Okay, we're going to grab the rectangle tool again. At the moment it's mine's set to that pattern, so I'm just going to change the colour. Just for the time being, I'm just going to make it green. And I do that just so you can see what you're doing at any one time. So I quite like the way that I did that. Had a little kind of magnet kind of arch at the top. So I'm just going to do the same thing again. Go away. So to do that, you put the shape over the letter. So you kind of have what's revealed is what you want to keep. Cool. So we're going to select both of those shapes. Oops, that is still grouped. So let's ungroup that. So right click on group, and it's still grouped. Object ungroup. There we go. Cool. Yeah. So the Pathfinder window, Pathfinder. Got a bad habit of closing it down every time I use it. I need to break that really. Okay, so you've got 2 options. You can either divide it, so with them both selected, hit divide, so you can then just take away each part, or you can hit the minus front button, which will minus that front shape from the bottom shape. So we may as well just do that. So what we're left with is the top arch of the letter. So let's go by each letter and just do the same thing, and just try to kind of like take little bits out of it. Try to take the main kind of chunky sections of the type, and it will just look a bit nicer. If you took like the top bit of this C, then maybe going to take a little bit from the bottom down here. And that's what I'm going to do. So again, I'm just going to make it green so you can see what I'm doing. Cool. So rather than clicking minus this time, I've done it back to front. So I've covered up the section that I want to keep. So with them both selected, rather than hitting minus, which is going to minus that green box from this R, I'm going to hit crop, which I haven't used yet. So what crop does is it will crop this R shape down to the shape that's on top. So hit crop, and it leaves that nice kind of leg of the R, and so on. So just keep doing that. I quite like that bit. Maybe we have more there. No, let's nick that. So again, the bit I've covered up the bit I want to keep. So this time I'm going to use the crop instead of the minus. Let's go here. So I'm gonna keep that bit, so cropping it, and so on. So once you've done that, for those for that range of letters, then you start again with the next set, which is the blue, and you take away other like different parts of the blue until eventually you've got loads of different sections that make up this, which is quite easy. Okay, so then it's just a case that once you've finished that, of layering those on top of each other. And so on until you get the desired result. You'll notice on my design I actually just shifted, I actually copied and pasted actually this art section once I'd cut it up and changed that to that pink. So let's do that for the time being. So let's just finish this off really quick. I kind of like that section there, so I'm going to keep that, select both my objects and crop. And then last of all, let's just do this. So So I copied and pasted that and made it the same colour as my stripes. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to make that one the pink. I'll have to select them one at a time and make them pink. And what's worth doing now is regrouping it back together, because you'll notice it they're all separated apart. So just take a selection range around that, Control G for group, and then we're going to shift it down a little bit. So at the moment it's overlapping our bluey grey colour. So if you can remember from the last session, in order to change the order of that so it appears at the bottom, you just right click on the group, arrange, and then center back, and it nicely just shifts it away. Cool. So like I said, just one little bit at a time. It's worth just keeping one of the letters, maybe the lighter one, to have at the bottom of the full thing. But yeah, literally, it's up to you. So just do it how you want to do it. Experiment. Okay, have fun.